Hi, Jana Grassel here from jjcrochet.com, and after many requests of how to make some of the granny squares with the flower picket center that is featured on Lucy's blog, I'm going to make a short tutorial. So Lucy from Attic24 makes great afghans of all different colors. I'm currently working on one of my own, and if you can see all of the squares in this afghan, they feature a three-dimensional flower center, and then the second row also has little petals coming out of it here. So I'm just going to quickly show you how to make some of your own. You can also find written instructions for the entire flower picket square on my blog, jjcrochet.com/blog. So to begin, what you're going to need are 5 different colors of yarn. Here are my 5 here that I've picked out. Specifically, the type of yarn I'm using is Debbie Bliss Baby Cashmere Merino and a size 3.5 millimeter, I believe it's a size E crochet hook. So in order to start, I'm going to use my first color. This is some great pink yarn here. And I'm just going to start off like I normally would. And I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and form that into a ring. Just like all of your other granny squares start out. However, this is where the similarities stop. Now you're going to work 8 single crochet into this ring. So chain 1, count as your first single crochet, and then work 7 more single crochet right in the very center. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then join to the top of the first single crochet with a slip stitch. Now you keep working with this yarn for the next row that we're going to do. We're going to make the actual loops that form the first row of the flower petals. So in order to do this, you're going to work picket stitches. So if you've never worked these before, essentially you chain a number of stitches and then you slip stitch into the very first chain that you made. So you'll have a line of chains like this, and then at the very end that slip stitch will make the stitches curl up on each other and it'll form nice little petal ridges. So for the first round, we're going to chain 3 and then slip stitch into the very first chain that we made. However, this round is only worked in the very front loops of the stitches. So only in those front loops, not through both like you would normally work. So chain 3 and then slip stitch into the very first of your chains. Now I'm going to work in the second stitch. We're going to slip stitch just in the front of those stitches again. Work chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then to form the picket stitch, you're going to slip stitch into the slip stitch that you first made for this second one. So continue working that around only in the front loops. Single crochet, or not single crochet, I'm sorry, slip stitch, chain 3, slip stitch into the very first slip stitch. So if you can see here, I now just have 3 little petals. They're very small, very tiny picket stitches because you're only chaining 3, but this is what it should look like the whole way around. So you'll have 8 of these petals when you work in all the stitches. Slip stitch, chain 3, slip stitch, chain 3, another slip stitch. Continue working this all the way around. And at the very end, I always count my stitches just to make sure I have 8 petals. It's never a good thing whenever you're 1 short. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. All right, so now we're done with color 1 and we have to join color 2. So I didn't join this first round here. I just have my 8 picket stitches. This is how it'll look before I join the second color. So in order to join the second color, you're actually going to work in the back loops of round 1. So remember how we worked this first row of 8 picket stitches into the front loops of the single crochet that we made. Now we're going to work in the back loops of the single crochet to work the 4 little stems that we have coming off of the flower. So in order to do this, you're going to join the second yarn by slip stitching into just the very last stitch, the back stitch of the first single crochet from round 1. So grab your second color. I'm going to be using this green one. Join your yarn just with a slip stitch here. And now for the second round, you're going to work chain 4 pickets. So the first round was chain 3 pickets. Now we're going to do chain 4 pickets. So work 1, 2, 3, 4. And actually work an extra one because we're going to be working single crochets instead of slip stitches for the base of this round. So you work 5 chain, which counts as the first single crochet, and then chain 4. Now work a slip stitch into your very first chain of this round. Into the next back loop of your second stitch, you're going to work just a normal single crochet. Normal single crochet, nothing happening here. Into the next stitch, work a single crochet, and now we're going to make another one of the picket flowers. So we have 8 stitches that we're working off of, and it is a picket stitch, single crochet, picket stitch, single crochet, picket stitch, single crochet the entire way around. So you'll have 4 of these petals and a single crochet in between all of them. So we made our single crochet. Now we're going to work a chain 4 and then slip stitch into the top of your single crochet. So now you'll have chain 4 picket stitch, a single crochet, and then a chain 4 picket stitch. Work this around in the back loops. So as you can see, this is like behind my initial 8 chain 3 picket stitches that I've made. So work another single crochet. Now it's time for another petal. So single crochet, chain 4, slip stitch into the top of the single crochet. This is a spacer, so we're going to work a single crochet, and then it's time for another petal, the 4th and final one. So single crochet, chain 4, and then slip stitch onto the top of the single crochet, and then you work one more single crochet around. So for the second round, you have a chain 4 picket, single crochet, chain 4 picket, single crochet, chain 4 picket, single crochet, and the last chain 4 picket, single crochet. So right now, this is what you're looking at. You have the 4 petals or leaves of the flower on the second row outside of your chain 8 or your chain 3, 8 flower stitches from the beginning. Now you're going to work the next row, which will become the basis for working your granny square. So what you're going to do is you're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. This is also equivalent to the 4 corners that you'll make of a normal granny square. So you work this in between the spaces of your picket stitches. That's where these flowers for the granny square will go. So grab color 3. We need to join that together. I'm going to be using blue for color 3. So again, join this together with a slip stitch. And counting as your first double crochet, you're going to chain 3. Now we're going to be working in this space here. So work right in between, just poke it through. There's no real defined space for these first corners here. So I always work it right in between both loops of the spacer single crochet from round 3. So you're going to work single crochet or double crochet, another double crochet, chain 2, and then 3 more double crochet. So we have our first corner here in between the picket stitches. Now we're just going to push the second petal of the green one forward a little bit, and we're going to work right behind it. We're going to work another corner in that spacer single crochet from the previous round. So going to work very tight double crochet, work 2 more, so we'll have 3 double crochet, and then chain 2, and then another 3 double crochet. And then sometimes it's a little awkward as you poke the corner through, but the picket stitch from the previous round will kind of peek through the 2 corners that we have here that'll form the basis for our granny square. All right, so let's continue to make the 3rd and 4th corners here. So 3 double crochet into the next single crochet space, chain 2, and work another 3 double crochet. All right, coming together. See how everything's peeking out, the green peeking out of the corners here. And then skip the next chain 4 picket and work in the single crochet space. Last one here, still working 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. And now you're going to join to the top of the chain 2 that you made from the first round with your 4th color. And you're going to join this with a slip stitch. So before I move on, I want to show you how this is looking so far. So we have our initial round of 8 single crochet, and then working on top of that in the front loops only, we have chain 3 single crochet or slip stitch pickets. So chain 3 slip stitch pickets there. Then for the second round, this green right here, we worked a single crochet, chain 4 slip stitch to make chain 4 pickets, and then single crochet as our spacer stitch, which we're going to work the corners of the third round into, the blue right here. And you work that around, and then when you join, you work chain 2 and then 2 more double crochet for your first cluster there, chain 2, 3 double crochet, and then in each corner around you work 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. So now we're on to the third row, and this is like a normal granny square that you would make. So you chain 2, and since this is a center stitch, we're going to work 3 double crochet into it. So chain 2 counts as your first double crochet, working 2 more since this is the first one. Chain 1, and then into the corner you're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet since this is the corner space. Coming to a middle, so we're going to work chain 1, 3 double crochet into the space below the 2 corners from the third round. Chain 1, now we're back to a corner again, so we're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 2, and then 3 double crochet into the center of that chain 2 space in the corners. So as you can see, we're just working around here, making the third row. Chain 1, we're back to the middle again. So in the space between the corners, work 3 double crochet. Chain 1, we're back to a corner, so we're going to work 3 double crochet. Chain 2, 3 double crochet since it's a corner space. Chain 1, and then in the next hole in between your 2 corners from the previous row, work 3 double crochet. Chain 1, back to the last corner. You know the drill by now. We're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 2, and then 3 more double crochet. And then very tightly you're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of the next round. So at that point you would join color number 4, and then you'd work 1 more round. So you'd have a corner on each end, and then 2 repeats of 3 double crochet, chain 1. So a corner would look like 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet for the corner stitch, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1, and now you're back to the corner. So you work 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet in the same corner stitch. But I'm going to stop here. I'm not going to do the final round since I probably bored you enough, but this is how your Picot flower looks if you are following Lucy's pattern from Attic 24. You can check out more patterns and free crochet items on my blog, jjcrochet.com/blog. If this was confusing or you'd like more videos, please drop me a note and I'd be more than happy to help out. Have fun!